Former President Donald Trump got his "I told you so" moment today at the southern border, speaking with law enforcement, property owners, and Texas officials, as well as touring the now incomplete border wall. The former president, the 45th president, he leveled a broadside against the Biden administration's open borders policy. Take a listen.
We had all these great policies going, and they were all ended. In the history, there's never been, and not me, all of us together, there has never been a border so secure as the southern border that we have. And now it's opened up. And don't kid yourself, they're coming in from the Middle East. And now we have an open, really dangerous border, more dangerous than it's ever been in the history of our country.
We have a humanitarian crisis. We have a national security crisis. Today, we're going to bring you different perspectives on the state of those crises, but we hear so much about the border. I want to start off by laying out some of the statistics you won't hear in the left-wing media. And incidentally, while former President Trump and Greg Abbott were meeting with those law enforcement officials and hearing directly about this catastrophe, Fox News was talking about Bill Cosby. It was like an O.J. Simpson moment for Fox News. They didn't cover it at all. We, of course, took it live here because what we were discussing today is important for our national security. So let's break down some of the statistics that show you just how bad the Biden policy has been. This is Biden's border by the numbers. Let's do that. Total enforcement actions on the border this year so far, 1,069,597. Now, that is on pace for more than the 2 million that experts have estimated could come across the border, the largest number in more than 20 years. All right, just for perspective, that 2 million number, that is larger than a dozen states. All right, the next thing, how many illegals, how many different countries the illegals are coming from? We are looking at 50 countries according to some experts. Some people say it's even more than that. So much, Kamala Harris, for this just being about Mexico or about climate change from the Northern Triangle countries. They're literally coming from everywhere. Total pounds of drugs captured coming across U.S. borders this year through the end of May, nearly 11,000 pounds. That includes meth, fentanyl, marijuana, cocaine, and heroin. This is killing people, folks. 11,000 pounds of drugs have already been seized. Southern border search and rescue efforts through May, nearly 7,000. Now, these are people, so just for perspective, that we have to put our folks, our agents, our law enforcement in harm's way in order to save 7,000 people. The next one, criminal non-citizens encountered by the Border Patrol, 6,900, again, through the end of May. These are folks with criminal records who had been sent back and then have been recaptured sneaking back into the United States. And those are just the folks that we've caught. We know from other statistics that it's likely that many others have actually gotten away. 7,000 people with criminal records. More than 44,000 unaccompanied minors have already been resettled at taxpayer expense across the United States this year alone. And again, one of the things that I've talked about is that this isn't about people just coming to the border. So everybody who's watching who thinks that the border thing is something that's going on very far away from where they are, no. The border comes to your backyard because the idea here is to let these 2 million people in and then at your expense, the U.S. taxpayer, to actually resettle these people in communities all across the country. When we talk a lot about undocumented minors, those undocumented minors, 44,000 of them have already been resettled across the U.S. Recidivism is another issue. 26% recidivism this year. That refers to the percentage of individuals who were apprehended more than one time by the Border Patrol. All right, we catch these folks now, since we have reinstituted catch and release, we catch these folks, We release them, then we catch them again. It's a revolving door, folks. And then, of course, this is a humanitarian crisis, and it is deadly. The number of illegals who have died trying to sneak into the country this year has already outpaced last year's total number of deaths. And the numbers are in the hundreds. That's the Biden border, America. That's what happens when you give people free legal representation, health care, education, housing, and a plane or bus ticket anywhere in the country, among other things. A strong nation needs a strong border. Democrats may want to use illegal immigration as a way to advance their agenda, but Americans of good conscience know that this policy costs lives, American lives, and the lives of people lured here by the promises of the far left. Don't be fooled. None of this has anything to do with the American dream.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, we're real news for real people.